Hey, fellow trade geniuses, this is Philip, and we are recapping January 11th. What a day, what a day. This recap is probably going to be a little bit long, just because we got a lot to cover. So I wanted to cover the trades. We had 5 trades from overnight and into the intraday. Go over what the approach was on those and the stops. And then for you newer folks, there were some questions today that I wanted to address. One is how do you deal with the overnight trade signal if you miss it overnight and you want to get into it, let's say in the morning sometime after you get back to your screens. The other question, there were some questions on getting flat on a trade, and so we're gonna go over that as well. All right, so let's get into it. So on the overnight stuff, we had swing signal on the Euro USD and also the Aussie Yen AUD JPY, and then I wanted to go over the Euro USD because that was tricky. And so let's go over what happened here. So I actually did not think, and I knew that Trump had his press conference, but I did not think that we would actually see a buy level hit today. From what I saw and how the oversold overbought algorithm works, I didn't think we'd see it, but we got this sell-off move here actually came and tagged the oversold level at 0480. I don't normally call out the secondary strike, so or if there's a strike above or below depending on which direction we're trading, but because the support on this level was so big that it warranted this trade, and this was even more oversold. It really was prone to bounce from this level. Okay, so that's why I wanted you guys to get in here and here, and that gave us some flexibility. So as Trump started speaking, boom, we got a reversal. Then this happened, came back down, right? So we entered the 0480 hit here at about 10 a.m. right around market open, and then also we signaled out the 0460 when it came down here, and this 11 a.m. is when the bar ends. So we got in after 10 in here. So we were locked and loaded. But so Trump started speaking, and it just went crazy, absolutely crazy. So when I saw it hit 540, now that's we're at 40 pips above this strike here, and we're 80 pips above the 60. I mean, on any other given day, trade is like done. But I think what happened was the algos went crazy. I think they didn't know what to do. I think the algorithms were looking at each other, and nobody knew what was going on. So when I saw this retrace and actually come back to this, I mean, that's a retrace of that magnitude in that short amount of time. That's telling us something weird's going on, and I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen. So at that point, the strategy was we're getting flat at a touch of the strike, and that was the same strategy for 0460. Fortunately, it did not come back down after this move up. This move here didn't. This move here came up. This is an hourly candle, so it's kind of hard to see in context. But this actually, when the Trump started speaking, this move from 0460 came up here and then never looked back. This was the test down to 0480 that held, and fortunately didn't shake us out of the 0460. Did shake us out of the 0480, but like I said, strategy at that point, after retracing that many pips in that short amount of time, we're getting flat on touches of strike, and that's just a defensive posture. And if we get shaken out, we get shaken out. But fortunately, 0460 held, so off we went. This was the move, and I honestly didn't think we'd see 0560 on a regular day. I thought we'd probably get into this region here and either close the trade early or just depending on how it went. But I think when Trump started speaking, he just added fuel to the fire, so the signal played out. Now, this was cruising along. This fired here for the 0580 strike, fired in this region here when price got to about 0540, and we were able to, I think I tweeted it out at 15, but that was, you were able to get in higher. I think my average on that was 20, but we'll log it as 15 because that was a tweet. This was doing good here. I thought this move was pretty much overdone. I follow these things every day, so I thought, this level of this resistance level, when I saw this happen, I thought, we're probably going to chop in here and maybe fade back down to 0540. This move here to 0620 was just I call it unprecedented, because we are now from the low of the morning to here, we're 160 pips higher at 0620. That's just not a normal 3 hour span. And I just don't know what Trump said that was appreciably different than anything he's really uttered in the last 6 months, other than this was like the official first press conference, being in office, even though he's still president-elect. I think that was the interpretation, that no, this is the guy you got during the election. So, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Nothing else really changed. I mean, if you were in algo, you heard car makers good, pharma bad, defense bad, right? Um, gonna do the wall. So, I think when Trump speaks, I think we're definitely gonna lay off, and we're just going to watch what happens. What's going to be, these algos are going to get reprogrammed and tweaked, I'm sure. They are ingesting the info live, and then they're trying to figure out what the edge is. So I think we're just going to wait, and on the next press conference, we're not going to be in the market. We're not going to be or if we are, we're going to get out and we're going to just see how the market reacts. What was interesting was, as this was skyrocketing up, the ES was dumping, and sometimes you'll see a correlated move, but really we didn't see much correlation. The ES came back down and then came just roaring back up, and I just didn't really see that. It was like it's like the EU just came up and kind of stayed up. Wasn't really correlating. It was just on a mission. So this isn't really an unprecedented move considering the day. I mean, this was stuff we'd see during Brexit, which was understandable. Brexit shaved 50 cents off the pound dollar pair. But from a press conference, that's just crazy. Okay, so we entered 580 here, and so this was in big trouble. One thing I will point out to you guys is that, and I know I'm kind of rambling, but there's just a lot to cover because today was really unusual, and it was good you guys got to experience it. This level here, 0600, this is what we call a 100-100 trade. What's a 100-100 trade, you ask? 100-100 trade means that the short-term probabilities and the long-term probabilities haven't failed. It's a 100-100 trade. So short-term is a few months of data. Long-term is years of data. So this signal here, this level, didn't fail ever, as long as the algorithm's been looking back a few years. And we're not talking, it doesn't go back like tons of years. It goes back enough years where you have a reliable long-term data set. It got close. It got real close here, but it ended up being good by 7 pips. But what was interesting is we also got another strike above 06 up here at 0620. Could have been taken, and these could have been taken at the money. Now, I got asked, what about taking those in the room? And I said those are what they are as far as probabilities. I was not tweeting it out because on our basic service, we have a mixed bag of customers. We've got newer people, we've got more experienced traders. The more experienced guys were asking because I know what you were thinking, and that was, this move's going to get exhausted, and it did. It shaved off 50 pips, 20 down to actually, yeah, almost down to 60. Almost shaved off 60 pips on the exhaustion, and that was due. We were coming into this resistance level too. Whenever you see 100, 100, or if you hear me say 100, 100, those rarely fail. I think in my experience, I've only seen one fail. Those are just very powerful level. If you get another one above it, that's one more strike higher. That's big, because you got to think this never failed even during Brexit. this type of move intraday. All right. So, and Brexit was as volatile as I've seen the overall FX market in recent times. So, pound dollar, like I said, shaved off 50 cents. I mean, it doesn't get any wackier than that. Okay, so, but those weren't tweeted out because we were already exposed on the 0580. But some of you in the room took advantage of it, and so good job there. So on the 0580, came back down. We're now at the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, was testing the stop level, which I capped at 70 because I just, at this time of day, if we're above strike, probabilities aren't good, just not good. So strike did not get tagged going into the dark period, so we waited till dark. The hope there was that we would get another fade, maybe this would roll over. It did not. So we had an opportunity to get out at 70 here, and that was tweeted to get flat there. And this is what I was afraid of if we did not see a dip below 80, that this would happen, because this into 7 p.m. more often than not it's going to go up. In this case, it went up a lot. That is a large range, above normal range size for that hour. So, and as you can see right now, past 9 p.m. Eastern, and this thing still got legs. So, okay, so that was the EURUSD. This was our expiration hour. 0460, great trade. 0480 would have been a great trade, but at this point here, we just didn't know if the world was ending as far as Forex went. We're in new territory with Trump, and we need to see how markets react over time to when he has press conferences. Okay, so let us now take a look at the Aussie yen. That wasn't as dramatic. Okay, so signal is for 86. This here, this right here, this move up and then over. Even, I mean, if aside from this crazy wick here, I mean, if he'd said this was just what happened today, I'd be like, oh yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the script for that play. Trump poured gas on the situation. It was an inverted move, not exactly like the euro, but they were kind of moving inversely to each other. Anyway, when we came down here, I mean, the probabilities of this failing were minuscule. It did run up toward the end of the expiration hour, got to within 8 pips or so, but wasn't really in too much trouble at that point. But I think most of you took profit way down here, and so if you did hang on to it, anyway, the signal, the swing closed true. So that was a full take there on that one. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3. The fifth trade we have was on the pound dollar. Pound had a pretty gigantic move too. But it didn't, because of where it was in the scheme of things and the magnitude of move before it, did not signal an oversold trigger. That's why we didn't look at it. However, when we were here heading into the 5 p.m. hour, because of the volatility, the premiums were juiced. And so instead of taking a 7 p.m., I opted for the 5 p.m., which was a very high probability setup. And then there was another level I was looking at in here that was in the way, so to speak, of our strike, which was 22.22 here. Okay, so I was pretty comfortable with this trade. We did wick up here to about 15, but that was about where I saw a lid on it, worst case scenario, and then it kind of flopped around and settled down here at 22.07. That was a good trade. I think we tweeted it out at 15, and I saw some of you get that for more, but we'll log it as 15. That was a crazy day if you made it out alive, and I think most of the guys in the room did and took profit. Good job. This was a good day to get through. As far as I think a lot of people were up right away, and then when this signal hit, I know some people were wanting to get out of the 580, and some of you did. Ultimately, we did. So we had plus 45 on the 60. We had a wash on the, let's get into the right screen here, on the Euro USD. So we had a plus 45 on the 60, a wash on the 80 because it stopped us out, unfortunately. And this was a minus 45 on the uh, on the 0580, so that washed out a swing trade. But then we had the AJ, right? AJ was true, so that was plus 45 again, and then we had plus 15 on our pound dollar 5 p.m. trade. So net positive for the day. And so there was a good example of probabilities working and an outlier event failing at probability. This 0580 was 100% near term, by the way, 98% long term. So just wasn't like we were trying to be aggressive and get into this early or anything like that. This thrust here was just like unprecedented for the distance that it came and the time of day, and just based off of Trump's presser. So, but fortunately we had a lot of things setting up today that we could take advantage of. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is get into how we get flat on the trades, and also what do we do overnight if we don't get into the signal right away. So let's take a look at the overnight signal first and go into that. Okay, so let's address the question about can I get into a swing if it's later in the move, if I don't get in when the tweet goes out. So the tweet went out overnight, well, early morning, and to get in at the 86 level. This actually didn't fill until 11 a.m. for the 3 p.m. expiration. So I think most of you probably were up and at 'em. But if you do get into a trade where it fills overnight, then if you come in at 9 a.m. or 9:30 when the market opens and you see the trades are moving in our field, let's just say it was here, it filled at 6 in the morning or something like that, and you weren't around for it, and it's moving down. So then it's like, okay, what I recommend doing is, if you're not in the trade, ask in the room if it's okay to enter, because if we got some movement away, I can then at this point of the day, starting in the morning, I can then look at the probability and say, hey, this has X probability of staying and not running back through strike. The only caveat is that these are swings, and the whole premise of the swings and the swing type move is they're a larger type move, so I like to get as big a premium as possible. So if you're taking a move or taking a swing late, and let's just say you get into this one at 25 when you could have got into it at 45 or 50, you remember the expectancy equation? That's going to affect that, because you're not getting, so at the end of the month, if I'm saying, expectancy is still positive, or this is the expectancy for the swing trade, yours is going to be a little less because you're not capturing the premium that you should have when you got into it. But to answer the question, yeah, you could get into that, but ask in the room if it looks like it's still favorable to get into, then I'm going to say go for it. Or I might say, let's wait, maybe try to get some better premium to correlate with the probabilities at that time. So that's the answer to your question. Okay, so the next one I want to cover, this is for the newer folks. I got questions about what does it mean to get flat, and I want to cover that, and I also want to show you on the platform. I'm going to go into demo mode, and we're going to take a couple of trades to show how we get flat. Okay, so here we're in the demo platform on Nadix. It's exactly the same as the live, but this way we can just kind of do some trades, and you can take a look at how we can get flat. I'm going to do 5-minute binaries to kind of speed up the process. What 5-minute binaries are just 5-minute contracts. So you think today was volatile, try doing them on 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes alone are just, it's like turbo trading. It's crazy. So let's say we're shorting 2187. Well, we could even probably bring up a chart here and kind of see in context what we're dealing with. Okay, so the chart is up. We're on a 1-minute chart, which is about what you would do. So let's just say we think this might be turning into a pennant. So I want to buy 21,879 ish. So now we're in dark. Okay, there's a 30-second dark on 5 minutes, so we'll wait for the next set to populate, and it has populated. Okay, in 2, 1. Okay, so let's say, okay, we're getting back up to resistance here, so now I want to short 21.89. Okay, let's short that. We're gonna click on the bid and let's sell. Let's just sell 2. It's dropping. Let's do 35. Okay, boom, moved up. Let's take a look at where we filled. We filled at an average price of 37.50. Awesome. So what I don't want to see happen is price move against me, right? So if price is starting to move against me, and let's just say you're in a trade with me, and I say, hey guys, on this trade, if you see the stop on this trade is $70. That's what it was today on the pound dollar that we were in for the 7 p.m. What that means is if this price starts to go back up, we've taken a short position here on the 2189. Okay, so if this moves against us to the 21, right now we're at 21884, so now it's starting to move against us, and I say, hey, let's take a, let's be defensive, let's take a stop at 55. Okay, 55 just hit. Okay, I want to get out of the trade. Now what you would normally do is you'd have a ticket staged for 55, or you might go higher. I'd go like maybe $5 higher just in case, so when you see that get hit, then you can hit it, and then price doesn't run away from you. So what you want to do is, if I say get flat, you're going to click on your open position. Okay, by clicking on your open position, it already populates the side that you would get flat on. This is going to empty out your 2 trades, your 2 lots, and it's going to buy out the position. You sold the position, now you want to buy it out to get flat, right? Let's just say we don't want to see this hit 40. If we see it hit 40, we're out. You could even stage the ticket for higher. You could stage it for 60. Okay, 40's there. We hit it, and we're out. You see how the contract disappeared? That's how you get flat. You can do it again. We'll sell it again. Okay. Sell it here at 34. Place the order. Okay. Order's working. So let's speed it up. I tell you get flat now. Okay. It's at 50. Let's just make it at 60. Get the heck out of there. Place the order. Boom. We're flat. Same for the buy side. We're going to buy at 54. Place the order. Okay. Now we're in it. Working order plus 10. If I click on that working order on a buy, the sell side's populated. I want to get out. Set it for 20. It'll give you the best fill. See that? Boom. We're flat. One more time on the sell side. We're buying this one here at 46. Okay, we're in the trade. I tell you to get flat. Click on the working order. Make sure you're lower than that number or higher than that number, depending if it's a buy or sell. So if it's going to fill at the best price, and you're out. Okay. If you set it to stop out, let's say you clicked on 27.75 to stop out of that, and you place the order. If the price moves away from you, then you're not going to stop out. Okay, that's why I say lower on a. If you're trying to sell to get out, then make sure price is lower than the bid. You can set it at 15, but it's going to fill at whatever the bid's at. Okay, that's like a market order, or alternatively, you make it just a market order, and you can get out that way. Same on the buy side. If you don't want to mess with that, you don't want to mess with worrying about bid or offer, then you could just change that to market order and place the order and get flat. So I hope that's clear to you guys on getting flat on open positions. That's the only way to get flat, to stop. Getting flat means closing out the position. You cannot set a limit order to do that. You can only set limit orders for price targets. So we will have situations where I'll say, we're entering, set your price target for, if say we bought at 55, okay, we want to exit the trade when we see price hit $90. Then you set a sell order. You click on that open position and you would set a sell order for higher. That would be setting a target. But for getting out of a stop position, you can't have a working order for that, because it's going to be, your stop's going to be lower than where they're bidding at, or they're offering at, or higher than where they're offering at, and so it instantly get taken out. And that's not what you want. You want to have a backstop behind, either below the bid or above the offer. And as the move goes against you, then you would stop out when the offer met your stop price. But they don't have that mechanism built into Nadex yet, so it's a manual process. You have to literally, if I say get out at 70, just to be safe, you're going to set it at 75 or 80, and then when you see price get near 70, you're just going to hit it. Boom. So I hope that clears it up. I would recommend actually practicing on the demo account, getting in and out of trades. So for setting a target, for example, if we clicked on this 2187, I'm not even looking at what price is doing. Let's just say we bought 10, right? Boom. Okay, so we're in for 10. Oh no, we're working. Okay, that filled. Now let's just say I want to make $10 profit on each one. So my average price is $54.50. So my target then would be, let's just say 65 on the price, and we place the order. So now we're working a limit order, but we're working it for a profit of $10 per trade, or $100, right? Because the bid's always going to be less than the ask. That's what you call the spread. You're always going to enter a trade instantly negative. That's just the way it works. The spreads aren't tight. Spreads are tighter here, but you can see here on this mid strike, they're pretty spread out, like almost by 50. That's actually not a good spread. That's bad. But if this price were to move up, let's say 2187 started moving up, then okay, now you saw it, profit just jumped, right? 45. But this is why 5-minute binaries are so volatile, because you're compressing the premium curve expiration. So you see our working order, it's there. This is the professional market maker at 62.75. They trade in these bigger lots, 20, 25. That's a professional market maker. This is our order. If price continues to rise, 21.87, our strike is 21.87. If it continues to rise, then we will move to the front of the top of the ladder, and our order will be at the offer. So there it is, and it filled. Okay, did you see that? It just filled, took out the order. We made $100. Positions are closed, and we get a little badge that we're a Nadex All-Star. But I hope that was clear. Again, practice in the demo. Watch this part of the video over again a couple of times if you need to. But if you guys don't get this right, you guys are going to set up a trade. You're going to be like, oh, he told me to get out at 70. You're going to set a sell order, because I've seen it. You're going to set a sell order for 70. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to have it, because what it's going to do is going to add to the sell position. You don't want to do that. You want to click on the working order and get flat that working order. So that's about as much as I can explain that. If you have questions, put them down below. If you have comments, put them down below. If you like the video, give us some likes, and if you aren't a subscriber yet, please subscribe to the channel. All in all, guys, for the volatility, good job today. I know you guys made some money. We did have that one loser. It was an outlier move. I'm glad you guys got to see the outlier move, because that's what happens even with high probability setups. That was 100% short term, 98% long term. You don't see those bust every day. But I was glad you guys did see it, and I'm glad it was a day where we had enough volatility that we could have other trades to make up for the loss and end out net positive. Okay, until next time, stay safe out there. It's volatile. I would watch trade size until we figure out and get a handle what's going on. We'll talk about it in the room. I'm going to watch it overnight and see what's up. And I may tweet out some things, if notes, if things are looking a little, if I see something that's worth noting, I will tweet it out. But we can talk in the room tomorrow. I will not tweet any trades out until things seem to have settled. If it's super volatile like today, I want to see this kind of settle down. We fired out 5 trades today, which is, you know how it goes. Some days we don't fire off any trades, or maybe it's 1 or 2. We fired off 5 today, so if we don't get any tomorrow, that's okay. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. It was a little long, but today was not normal. If you have any questions, like I said, ask below or hit us up in the room. Thanks again for watching. Take care, guys. Trade safe. Bye-bye.